Welcome to Are People Waiting in Line to Attend Your Church Internet Audio Talk Show. The purpose of this talk show is to help pastors, ministers, and leaders of small or new churches and ministries to increase their outreach, attendance, and donations. My name is Kim Wilson, and I'm the host of this show, as well as a marketing consultant, professor, author, speaker, and founder of God's Active People Ministry Marketing Services. And I have been committed to utilizing my marketing skills and experience for over 18 years to be a great help to God's leaders in reaching more people for Jesus Christ. And you can learn more about me on my website at www.gapministrymarketing.org. Today I am so grateful to have Father Cedric Pisegna, who has dedicated his life to God as a Passionist, religious, and Catholic priest. He is the founder of Father Cedric Ministries, which is a Roman Catholic ministry dedicated to reach out to as many people as possible in as deep a way as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ. His ministry is an expression of the new evangelization called for by the late Pope John Paul II. Father Cedric has a very inspirational television program called Live with Passion, which is presently airing in many cities, including New York, Boston, and San Antonio. He has written 14 books and produced a number of CDs and DVDs on Christian living. Father Cedric also preaches across the United States and Canada and can be contacted on his website at www.frcedric.com. On today's show, Father Cedric will share his wisdom, experience, and valuable advice to help new and small churches to increase their outreach, attendance, and donations. Now let's begin our interview with Father Cedric.
Father Cedric, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on my show today.
You're very welcome, Kim. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Our show basically is entitled Are People Waiting in Line to Attend Your Church? And it has the purpose of helping new and small Christian churches and ministries to increase their outreach and attendance for our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm very inspired by your TV show, Live with Passion, and all you're doing in honor of Jesus Christ. And I welcome the opportunity to have you share your wisdom and advice to help new and small churches. And again, I'm very pleased and grateful to have you as a guest today.
Well, thank you, Kim. It's good to be with you, and I certainly want to help any way I can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As we get started, Father Cedric, can you please give an introduction of yourself to our listeners?
Well, my name is Father Cedric Pisegna. I'm a Catholic priest. I've been a priest now for 19 years, and I live down in Houston, Texas. Originally, I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts. And I've lived in Texas now for about 9 years or so, and I live in a monastery, a Catholic monastery retreat center. We have rooms for about 80 people or so. My particular ministry is to travel around the country preaching what's called missions. This is the Catholic version of revival. And I go to different churches. For example, last week I was in Pittsburgh. Next week I'll be in Brooklyn, New York. And I preach at all the weekend masses, and then I preach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday services, morning and evening. So that's the heart of my ministry, but I also write books. I've written 14 books to date, and I produce radio and TV programs called Live with Passion. My programs air in Atlanta, where you're based, and they also air from New York and Boston all the way to Los Angeles, Houston, and other cities. And my radio programs also air in many different places. The heart of my ministry is to reach out to as many people as I can with the gospel and to impact their lives positively with the good news of Jesus.
Amen. That's great. I know you're doing a lot of great things for Jesus Christ, and I really respect that and admire that about you. Now, the first question I want to ask you, Father Cedric, is how can new or small churches reach more people for Jesus Christ?
Well, I think the best way to do it is for a small church or a new church is certainly the marketing aspect, the advertising aspect. For example, say you're in a neighborhood, you want to try to, certainly have some type of a billboard outside your church or some type of a sign that advertises what's going on and all are welcome. You might even want to do a some type of a campaign where you bring brochures to people's houses, put them in their mailbox, an attractive, simple brochure, not stating much other than you're welcome to come, and we're a dynamic, growing community, and we want to try to help you. But the other thing I would say is, if you can get the money together, you can produce TV programs that can air locally. You'll have to pay for the production. You'll have to also pay for the air time in most markets. But say, for example, in Atlanta, where I air on the Interfaith Broadcast, Atlanta Interfaith Broadcasting, AIB it's called, many local churches in Atlanta air on that channel. And so people watch them, and some people, if they like them, would be interested in coming to their church.
Right.
So advertising is so key. If you don't get out there and advertise somehow, market what you have, market your community, then nobody's going to know about you and nobody's going to come.
That's true. I agree with that. Those are some great ideas.
Yeah, the other one would be radio too. You can buy radio time that would be less expensive than the TV. And you simply air your preaching or air your service. I wouldn't recommend airing the whole service. I would recommend a half an hour with your preaching with some type of a nice introduction and conclusion, and then buy time on a local radio station. Try to get a good time. The better times cost more, of course. So if you want to get your community out there, you have to pay the money, and you have to advertise.
That's great. Now let me ask you this question. How do you think new or small churches can increase their attendance?
It all starts with dynamic preaching. You have to have a pastor or somebody on the staff who can preach in such a way that it invigorates people, it rejuvenates people, and inspires people. Mm-hmm. Usually, this is the way that you first start to get people into your pews because they like your preaching and they come back. It's very, very important to be a good storyteller, to have good orthodox teaching, and to be able to relate to people. You have to be able to be practical, and talk about everyday life. So that's a gift given to some, but not to all.
Right.
And to be quite frank, a lot of churches do not grow because of the preaching, and the preaching is not good. And that cuts across all denominations.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that gift, it's going to be a struggle for you. But if you do have the gift, that's why I say you got to market it. You got to try to get that out there. So it begins with preaching, dynamic preaching. Also, I would say music is very, very important. You need to have a good music ministry. It's worth paying money for. If you're going to put your money into something, spend it on music. Get a good music minister who can stir people up, who can lead people in song, because praise and worship is so key. It's very, very important to have good praise and worship. That's what people want. And then the third thing I would say, very important, is to have some type of an outreach to youth. It's very important. Most people come, they have children, and they want their children to grow up in the faith. They want them to be instructed well. So it's worth it to get a youth minister, to hire a youth minister who would found or create some type of a program to reach out to young people. So I would start there with the preaching, with the music, and the young people. And if you can do that, I think your church will grow.
That's great. That's excellent advice. Now, lastly, how do you think new or small churches can increase their donations to do even more for Jesus Christ?
Well, I think that if you do have dynamic services, and if you are trying to reach out through radio and TV, then you tell people. People want to donate to something that's growing and vibrant, and they don't want to donate to something that's dull and dead. So, they'll see the fruit, and they'll see what you're trying to do, and people will come on board. For example, I have TV programs airing around the country, and I advertise, I solicit for partners and for donations, and people do. I still have to go after them, but people donate. They want to help me because they see the fruit, they see what I'm doing, and they want to be a part of something that's reaching out to multitudes of people. So you increase the donations not by harping on it all the time, but by talking about the good things that you're doing, how the gospel is being presented and preached, and inviting them to be a part of it, to be partners with it. And then I believe that people will be generous. So, you can raise money. It is possible. Certainly there are other things to do, such as golf tournaments and, having raffles, or, getting people together for, these fiesta type things, or rummage sales, or, all that type stuff you can do.
Right.
But basically, the bottom line is you want people to be tithers. You want them to be people that are giving to their local church and giving to something that's dynamic and something powerful. And as people see the fruit again, and that something good is going on, they will want to be a part of it, and you won't even have to harp on it. You just, you invite them, and sometimes, you preach sermons about giving, and in a balanced way, and how good it is, and how right it is to give as a part of Thanksgiving. And I think people will come on board. I would really be reticent about hammering people and trying to make them feel guilty, or, haranguing people about money. People, that's what keeps them away. So, if you're starting to do that, there's probably something wrong with the church in the first place. So, you got to really, again, get with the dynamic preaching, get with the outreach to youth, the good music, create some kind of vibrant community, a welcoming community. I didn't say anything about that, but that's really important. Something that, people that are welcoming but not overboard. Sometimes I go to churches, and they're too much. They want to, you're like their best friend, and they haven't even met you yet, and that's just a little too much for me.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to be welcome, but you want to be left alone too.
Right.
You don't want to feel like your space is being invaded, so it has to be balanced.
Great. Well, this is excellent advice. And again, Father Cedric, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're always on the go, and for being a guest on my show today. And again, thank you for sharing your valuable wisdom and advice to help new and small churches to increase their outreach for Jesus Christ. And I will continue to pray for you and watch your show, which I indeed get so much inspiration from and encouragement.
Oh, thank you, Kim. And I hope you'll share with your people about my website and, my resources and my TV program. And I really appreciate your desire to help people to grow communities and to grow churches to proclaim the gospel. More power to you.
Thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless you too, Kim. Bye-bye.
Again, I want to thank Father Cedric for being my guest today and emphasize that he preaches, writes, and produces to help people come to know Jesus in a personal way, and that he is the founder of Father Cedric Ministries, which is a Roman Catholic ministry dedicated to reach out to as many people as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ. And you can learn more about Father Cedric's TV program entitled Live with Passion, which is presently airing in many cities throughout the United States, or to order his books, CDs, and DVDs, or invite him to share his practical, inspirational, and orthodox messages in person. You can learn more about taking advantage of these opportunities on his website at www.frcedric.com. Again, that's www.frcedric.com. Or you can contact him by phone at 321-474-0997. Again, thank you for joining me today and listening to the Are People Waiting in Line to Attend Your Church talk show. And I hope this show has been a help to you, and I will look forward to helping you do even greater things for the purposes of Jesus Christ. Also, I welcome any contributions of any amount to help support this talk show for the purpose of helping newer small churches to increase their attendance, outreach, and donations, and also to help us fund the Global Abstinence Project for teenage girls in low-income areas. And you can learn more about this and how to contact me on my website at www.gapministrymarketing.org. Thanks again for joining me today. God bless you, and you be a blessing to God.